All right. Are we live? I'm giving my review, my reaction, and my review though, right? So out of the reaction, like it's what I expected it to be, right? James Gunn. People put some respect on his name. Like one thing I do, I follow the story to a T, right? And so as it's showing a little cross, sort of like similar like how like with Star Wars though, right? It's showing that, and so I see where James Gunn is going. Really, as far as like the world building, all this stuff, you figure I'm thinking of like the inspiration is like Star Wars, even though he's taking inspiration from comics, but like how Star Wars does it, right? So it's showing across, showing you, okay, what already taking place, and boom, it brings you right there, and it shows Superman lost that like boom, one battle, whatever, right? Boom, and he comes like crashing down. So that's stuff I've already seen in the trailers anyway. Um, so I do want to I do want to try to do the review. I won't really well, I can't say I won't spoil or anything, but this movie, me watching it, you know, feeling the joy, because me being an avid Superman fan, somebody who been watching since I was a kid, collecting the comic books in the '90s when I was a teenager, all of that. So I'm I'm really well familiar, well versed with the Superman mythos, right? So top to bottom, I know all that from watching the death and his return, all of that. So read a little bit of the New 52 to Rebirth to Dawn of DC, Absolute Power to this All In and stuff like that. So yeah, I done basically seen it all basically with Superman, and I like for how the movie started. I like it, so it gave you different ranges what they were showing you and stuff. So now you see the part where Superman falls out from the sky, and he got bested by someone, right? He fell from out the sky, boom, and he was injured, hurt badly and stuff, right? And where he whistled whistled for his dog and all of that stuff, right? So, but for my excitement, it was excitement being a Superman fan. Not only that, but also a DC fan, because I believe James Gunn brought him back. The reason why I say, well, how you say it's only one movie? What I'm saying is this: I believe the stigma, that bad stigma. I mean, okay, I think you Buck, to answer you, Buck. I think we're hearing about. I think he's already been greenlight for a sequel, though, potential sequel, though. Of course, it was obviously talk about that. You could go on X and figure it out. But yeah, I think James Gunn put the DCU in a much better place. Remember, it was in a bad spot. Now we're not counting Batman, what Matt Reeves is doing, though, right? If you want to count that, you say, yeah, okay. But far what James Gunn did, and like which he ushered in Hope back in, right? Now, yeah, the Rotten Tomato score as far as the critics, that score dropped down to like an 82, but the audience score is still high, and it's sad that you got these so-called grifters out here, that hating on the character, don't want to do good and stuff like that, and then when, at the same time try to say, oh, I hope it do well. So no, they don't. Grifters like Ricky Brown don't want the movie to do well. I'm gonna put a name on it. Grifters like Ricky Brown, grifters like Von Toon, right? Grifters like AP the Shooter, grifters like Dre 6200. I'm gonna call them out, right? Grifters like Mello don't want to see the movie do well, right? You know what I'm saying? So that's what it comes down to. It's not their type of superhero what they wanted to be or whatever, right? And you got people faking like they want something to do well, and as soon as it's like some stuff don't do well, then you see what I'm saying, they gonna jump ship or whatever, right? You like I said, you got the real DC fans, you got the fake ones though, right? Just call yourself a Batman fan and keep it moving, right? But as far as this, what I'm saying, like this was a great, to me it was a great movie, especially far as a comic book movie, right? Dealing with Superman, it, to me, it exceeds the Man of Steel and whatnot. Where everything that went on, the story made sense. The story added up. You know, Lex Luthor, being that he had a pocket dimension, also, you know what? it's supposed to be my out of fit reaction, but I'm gonna make it review all of that though. Everything's gonna be incompetent. So if you really look at it, right, boom. So he fell down. He got to get healed by that sun. They had to magnify it and stuff like that. Boom, and then he tried to go back out of the fray, whatever. But he only had like 80% right? And so throughout this movie, you see Lex Luthor was incensed with him. Maybe, who knows, right? Maybe his parents did send him to come and do that though. Maybe they did, right? Sent him, wanting to really to conquer Earth. Who knows, right? Maybe that was though. But regardless of that, I mean, the core character you seen, that was on display of Superman, the core character, right? It wasn't no injustice type of thing going on, right? Which, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong having different takes of Superman, but you start the universe off with the core, what's the core of what Superman is, and I think the setting everything with him going to like stop help another country out because like he said people was going to die, all that stuff, right? That's like who Superman is, who go out and helps and stuff like that. He looking good to everyone though. So and that brought that it brought the comic to life in a movie. That's what it did. I'm not here to like down no down or spit on Zack Snyder. 'Cause I think what Zack Snyder did, I guess his heart was in the right place what he did though, right? But at the end result, regardless of the situation, over time the DCEU became a failure. It became like a the eyesore, right, for the fans or whatever, because they stopped coming to the movie theaters. And so I think James Gunn, I believe he's bringing the fans back and stuff. Regardless what you think about his character or not, but you can't deny him as a storyteller or director. You cannot take that away from him. He's already proven that, and in his reaction, it just solidified that though. To me, like you say, as far as my reaction, like thoroughly impressed, right? I was thoroughly engaged watching the movie. It wasn't over. It wasn't over the top humor. It was balanced across the board to me, and I was able to keep up with the story from start to finish, right? But maybe some might take it, oh, whatever. But I knew exactly what he's doing. Once I seen like that Star Wars like Crowley was showing, I know exactly what he's doing. I mean, it's like the story is happening, right? I would say this, like they're telling you the scenario, the setting up. Okay, so now all we just do is watching it all play out, though, right? And stuff, because he's telling you the setting where, okay, like the Metahumans already been on this world, whatever, right? Like 300 years, and he been Superman on the job for like 3 years, right? And so, well, he's like 30 years old, whatever, I guess. So yeah, and like the movie is excellent though. Everything from like you see a little character, well, how he was dealing with each character and stuff. So you see obviously stuff from the Lois and Lex, but also from the Jimmy Olsen character and stuff like that, right? And you see Miss Tessmacher, right? And you seen like the engineer and stuff like that. She was buying to what you call it, Lexus calls, all that stuff though, right? So just watching the whole entire movie, it was a lot. As far as like this is no action, it was action, but the action made sense though. Whatever. Okay, why was Superman fighting that Kaiju? It was meant as a distraction though, right? Wait a minute. Why did Metamorpho help Lex Luthor, right? It made sense. Why? Cause he had his son, baby Joey, right? And so, I know it's like I said, I was trying not to do spoilers, but but I'm gonna just explaining how I seen it. So like also everything, the story all made sense. What was going on? Why this stuff was happening, and it made sense, right? When Metamorpho, now he was only helping Lex out, right? And also he was a prisoner, like Medicum. He was a prisoner. He was only doing that Lex bidding right there for because he had the baby, right? If those that watch the movie and stuff, you'll see why. And Metamorpho, I believe, he had a good spot in this movie as well. Guy Gardner, well too. It's like Hawk Girl, she was okay, right? But I figured like the Guy Gardner, Mr. Terrific, obviously, Lois Lex, Superman, like they all did their thing in that though too and stuff. So it definitely was like a movie of hope and stuff. But it's good. Universal, yeah, it definitely was a movie what they were showing the hope and stuff. The scene, the setting was, I believe, to me was perfect though, right? And stuff. How's it going, Universal? I'm just giving my out of field reaction review, whatever. So out of 10, for as far as me, now remember I might be come up with as somewhat biased. 'Cause I'm a big time Superman fan, but seeing all the Superman, I would give this movie to me. I would definitely give it a 9. I would give it a 9 because it had it had great balance though. If you look at it though, right, the theme that Luthor had it in for Superman, and maybe you know what I'm saying? He had it in for him though, right? And trust me, the acting was good though, right? The acting was good. Trust me. Everything that Luthor was doing and stuff, and it was calculated and stuff like that, right? So for Superman, for this movie right here, I would give this um 9, right? And I seen a lot of comic book movies. I seen a lot of Superman movies. So like, for as a DC, the first film in the DCU, for what I seen, what the setting and everything that was going on in that movie, I'll give it a 9. Right? To me, it was that good because right there, right. Even though it seemed kind of shorter, because that's to get rewatches and all that stuff. Listen, you ain't gonna get people to come back and rewatch something that's like 3 to 4 hours, right? Not a whole lot. It's not gonna happen like that. Okay, well, okay, you gave it a 6. Hey, like you said, art is subjective, though, right? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, you might see your lens. You might see it different how I see it, though. But I want to preface that I will be come off being biased because I am a Superman fan, though. Feel me? So I mean, I respect your opinion. We respect other people's opinions over here. You know, and like some might would try to say, "Hey, you don't know what you say. You don't know what you're talking about." Hey, you seen the movie? That's your opinion of it, right? You feel what I'm saying? So yeah, so I mean, so yeah, so like the story to me, yo, what's the good? Who else? Yeah, man, I see that movie. I get who else? I know I'm kind of biased. Who else? But I gave it a 9. I enjoyed the story, all of that. You know, everything that was going on in the movie and stuff. You know what? Also, who else? Okay, you're like, okay, but likewise, all right. So you know how art is. Like you might see it as 6 though, right? Then no, what's a 9? A 6 turned upside down. See what I'm saying? Feel me? So yeah, so it was a 9 to me because you had things in that movie was relatable. I think in the first time this Superman, right, was more relatable than the Superman and Man of Steel. Even and remember, I gave Man of Steel an 8. Feel me? So yeah, and like I said, I'm a DC fan, Superman fan first, and DC fan, right? So yeah, so to me, like Superman showed adversity though, right? He showed, like he was like getting knocked down and getting back up and continue to fight and try to like help out and stuff, right? He values like life though. Feel me? You seen that in the movie though, right? And that's really that's a positive character though. That okay that you can support. Like I said, I've been supporting this since I was a kid though, right? And that's before the comic book. I'm talking about like you remember the Super Friends show and stuff like the anime, all that stuff, comic books. I was doing all of that. But yeah, but you like you said, we got these grifters out here, right? That only will come up and try to say the negative things and stuff like that about the movie or the character or whatever, right? And to me that's just being lazy, like because you're only doing that because was cause the algorithm, right? But to me, me personally, I definitely would recommend this movie to anybody and say, yeah, go ahead and watch that though, right? Don't go and see it for yourself and come with your own conclusion. Like my man Universal, he said, hey, you know what? He gave it a 6. There's nothing wrong with that though, right? He went out there, seen the movie, and that's what he feels. So yeah, so my movie that I definitely enjoyed Superman 1 and 2. 3, not as much. 4, I didn't like at all. Like, so that's probably the one Superman movie that you can say I didn't really like. Right, they didn't have no passion behind it. That's what I'm saying. MCU was not the inspiration for James Gunn. If anything, I think Star Wars is more like more of an inspiration. You ask me, right? What if you compared it to, it would be more like Star Wars though. No, you know what? Like I said, I trust in James Gunn, right? For regardless what they make at the box office, one thing they did do, why I won't consider this a flop, because James Gunn, he restored the name of DC though, right? Regardless how much it makes. If you go and see this movie, say, okay, this is to me, this was for me, it was a really good, great movie, right? For me. And he restored that name. Remember, DC was in a bad headspace after the DCEU. Let's be honest. If you don't want to say, well, I'm not gonna say it was like all on Zack Snyder, but overall, the DC fans stopped coming to support DC, especially DCEU movies. It stopped coming and support it, and that put DC in a bad spot. Remember, before Zack Snyder started, remember DC was riding high off that the Batman trilogy, the Nolan trilogy, right? And Zack Snyder was able to come in, so like you was in a good spot doing all that stuff. Yeah, I mean, I believe it could do 150 million. It's like I think it could get up to 150 million. I'm thinking more like maybe 130, but like we also got to account for the walk-in sales too, right? The walk-in sales. So that's what I'm saying. So I don't know if you've seen it already, but to me, like I said, I'm biased, right? Because I'm Superman. To me, it definitely was a like really good movie. I gave it a 9. It was a really good movie though. The story made sense. Superman, it seemed relatable. I mean, so I don't know what Nico look for though, right? So I mean, I can't control what feel me how Nico feel though, right? I mean that's on him. Feel me? Hold on for a minute. Let me check something out. Hold on for a minute. I can't control what how he feel about something though, right? You know what I mean? People need to stop being like influenced by other people to make their like come up with a decision. You feel me? So all I know is the audience score is like what it was a 96. That's all I know though, feel right? Me? So all I yeah, like you said, man. Yeah, so I don't like that's Nico's opinion though, right? He paid the money for his ticket, so he could feel how he feel about it though, right? I'm not gonna take it away from him though. But yeah, see, at first Nico like was saying he didn't want to watch the movie. Now all of a sudden he want to watch the movie again, and you hear that cast like talk him up or down about something. Like it's kind of to me, but hey, that's his opinion. I'm gonna stick with it. Feel me? I'm gonna stay with it. Like that to me, the movie's great to me. Yeah, but exactly, we finally have a new universe, right? But which I believe I like what James Gunn is doing though, right? You know, James Gunn always been a hell of a director, right? Screenwriter, regardless what the movies make. And so when I tell him, listen, like look at the movies that was the comic book movies during the pandemic that remember they had day and date at home to watch, right? So you didn't have to go out. Some movies like people still go out and watch certain movies at the theaters, but look at the far as like like as far as the Suicide Squad, and people could probably watch that at home. They was doing that though. Some movies they went. I can't explain why, but some movies they went during the pandemic when they could have watched them at home. But like I said, I trust in James Gunn. To me, this was a great movie. You know, I had no problems with it. The pacing was fine. You know, so people just looking for like as soon as the scene starts, straight action, action. No, you get. I like when there's a plot and a story behind something. You right. We got people's giving takes on Superman when they don't even like the character. They don't even like the director, the screenwriter is doing it. So come on. So there's already like a skewed narrative behind that anyway, right? You know, so like that's what I'm saying. We put in too much time and effort listening to these grifters though, right? You know, that's what we got. We got to stop that though. Like You got even you got some guys that fight this imaginary war, like this, like being on like Zack Snyder and James Gunn are friends. He's probably looking at you like you're crazy, though, right? Like, remember they did something together on Rick and Morty, like what was it, like last week or so? So they just be laughing at these idiotic fans that think it's some like real tension or whatever. And but like far as this movie, I was thoroughly impressed. And what I'm saying, I enjoyed my time at the movie. I wore my Superman shirt, the movie shirt and stuff. So yeah, so like I can't tell like who's gonna like the movie, right? But far as me, and being a big fan of the character and a big fan of DC, I enjoyed it. And another thing, it's not my job to make someone try to enjoy something. People go out their way try to make someone like something or dislike something, right? And which is that to me that's like weird right there. You try to make someone dislike a whatever because you don't like it. Oh, I want this person to dislike. Or if you don't dislike this, then oh we ain't gonna we're gonna invalidate your opinion, whatever, right? I see that go on all the time, which is that's the weirdest thing too, right? And stuff. So so like I said, I'm gonna continue to think that it's gonna do well at the box. I don't care what Jurassic Park doing at the box office. I'm concerned about what Superman's gonna do, right? So we gotta like stop that though. Let people like what they're gonna like at the end of the day, right? That's to me. Let them like what they're gonna like though. And you got too many people, right? It's got I would say like betterment in heart though. Like he trying to get the DCU back on track and stuff. Like I said, once again, I'm gonna say it again. I look at the audience score, a 96. Come on, you talk about a 96? Like a critic gonna be a critic at the end of the day, right? I can't take that away. If they want, hey, if they like or dislike the movie, like I said, that ain't stop me from going to see the movie though, right? That ain't stop me from paying my money to go see the movie though, right? Because like I was interested in wanting to see the movie. It didn't matter what my a podcaster got to say about the movie. That's not gonna stop me from going to see something though, right? At the end of the day, be your own person, have your own mind, be able to think and rationalize for yourself. Don't let a person do the thinking for you though. That'd be the problem. Too many people be sheeps though. Like let people do thinking for they say this movie trash. Oh, I'm not gonna go and say no. If you're interested in a movie, go ahead and see that movie. Then come with your own, right, and stuff. Just don't say, oh, the movie trash. Tell me why you didn't like it, this and that, right, and stuff. So for me, it had everything that I was looking for in a Superman movie, though, right? Because like I read Superman in the comics, so when I look at the movie, I look for some type of representation for what Superman would be if he was coming from the comics to the movie. Because you're doing it's an adaptation. A comic book. Okay, so you're doing a movie on a character that you're trying to adapt the character from the comic books into the big screen. So it should line up somewhat, in some ways, with what the comics is anyway, right? Same thing when you write a novel, it may have to be like for like, one for one, but you want to capture something that came from that novel into the movie. At least something got to be like sort of somewhat similar though, right? But you could add your own little spin to it. Before this movie, I gave it a 9. Sure, other people might give it a different score, right? And and like it's a fact. People didn't want to. People like why people don't like this man. I noticed that they didn't even watch the Superman and Lois show in season 4, and that's probably the best season, one of the best seasons though, right? And they didn't even watch that. And I'm like saying, come on now. So yeah, Noah gave it a 9 out of 10. I don't know if you've seen it yet, Tommy Boy, but for me, I gave it a 9 as well, right? I don't know if Noah's for real or just capping or just trolling, but I gave it that though. I was in the fit of sitting, and also I'm seeing the reaction from the people and stuff. People was like they was enjoying the movie, People was enjoying the movie though and stuff. I ain't seen not one person walk out. Only time you see somebody walk out, let's say use the bathroom, getting a refill, popcorn or whatever, right, or soda, right? That's probably it. But no one, and you know what? No one. Also, they stayed to the end credits too, right? To the end, also, and stuff. So yeah. So out of fit reaction, I think this is a big W for the reception for DC and Superman and they fans as well. And we just gonna see what the when the box office, all that stuff like start even though they racking up money, but like you remember it's officially launches tomorrow though, the 11th though, right? So we see what it do. But like I said, Tommy Ball and who else in here, just give the movie a chance. Go and see if you like it or not, right? Because okay. Like Ty, you already made it known. Ty, like he don't really like Superman. He think it's boring, whatever, right? But like if you ain't go and see the movie and and just go off what people say on internet, I don't like online. I don't want to have no conversation with you. If that's what you're gonna do. If you went and seen a movie and you could give like an honest opinion of why you liked or didn't like it, that's cool, right? But like I don't. Yeah, but like if you want to be like the other grifters on like the internet, I'm good on that. Feel me? I'm good on that. Okay, you gonna say it next week? You see it? I'll say it this week. Yeah, I think it was better than Man of Steel. I believe it had more depth than the Man of Steel as well, right? Cause look, basically, Man of Steel is these Kryptonians landed there. They wanted to take over the Earth, right? This and that. I felt this had a much better storyline, way better storyline than Man of Steel, way better. Better storyline, better acting, all of that, right? Trust me. To me, right? It was a science behind it. Like, okay, why is this stuff happening though, right? Boom. You see what I'm saying? And you see, okay, why was that kaiju there, right? Like I said, that big ass kaiju was there for distraction, though, right? While they was in the fortress trying to find some more stuff out. So like everything, all the storylines, it all made sense and stuff like that. Everything made sense. Yes, I'm saying we all win. I know, like you got like, trust me, trust me. Ricky Brown might say otherwise, but he want that movie to fail. Bomb. Vaughn wanted to fail. It's a lot of people in Discord wanted to fail. They might be saying, "Oh yeah, right," but yeah, they wanted to fail, which is crazy though. They wanted to fail, you know, because we had like many conversations. Like you've been on the show. You watched the shows, right? Tommy Bull. Like majority like he tried like want that movie to fail. I'm saying, wow. And like these guys supposed to be so-called DC fans, like I don't think so. But I hope it do well though, right? Because you know what, we could continue to get more projects and stuff like that. And no matter what people say about this movie, I think James Gunn did a real good job though, right? Coming in, like just look at it from his time being here, right? Really in him, he gave us like what you feel me, like Peacemaker season one, Creature Commandos, the Superman. We about to get Peacemaker season two. Lantern's supposed to come out next year. You got Supergirl coming out next year. You got the Clayface supposed to come out next year. You got these other animation stuff being greenlit, like the new Mr. Miracle, Starfire, My Adventures with Green Lantern, right? So you seen all this stuff that's happening though, putting out all this content and stuff like that, trying to be like original and stuff too though, right? So and what he like did with like Superman, like like you say, he took inspiration from other parts of the comic books and made it all work and fit in a tempo movie. And and so like I'm saying like 130 to 150 domestic weekend. What I'm saying though, right? And we'll see how the international stuff go though, right? I think they put a whole lot of emphasis on China, right? But those other regions are gonna step up for DC, I believe, too, and stuff. So that's what like I said, man. It was like a good feeling being back in the theaters, DC back in the theaters, seeing this movie. Yeah, that's right. Like I said, so like it's like crazy. A character like Superman and people want that to fail. Like that's crazy. Like they want this what the character stands for is like to fail, which is like I don't get that though. Like that's like man, like you don't like Superman at all. Like that'd be the crazy part. Feel me? I mean, he stand for a lot. Like like the truth was it truth justice. They used to be the American way with truth justice. Better way to then they went to human way and stuff. When they were saying it's like what political, but Superman always sort of been like political though, right? You feel me? But that wasn't like they probably took that the wrong way though. Feel me and stuff. You know, cause remember Luthor influenced the government to go against them and stuff, right? So yeah, that was dealing with politics and stuff. But they just jumped the gun. So when you really watch the movie, oh, it's political, but it's not really political like that though, right? You really look at it. It's not like woke or something. Yeah, he is an immigrant. What do you think, alien? Like that's what that's what alien means. Immigrant. Really, you look at the if you look up the like you know what I'm saying. So yeah. So they act like they forgot what that meant though, right? What that definition meant. Person from a foreign land, right? If I'm not mistaken, it's not from here. So, but being I guess Superman, so what I guess represented like American culture, so they was like conflicted. Oh no, this can't be that. Yeah, but yeah, so that was crazy. So like they like in the first issue, Superman, right? His first appearance, Action Comics, right? It came out in 1938. It says Superman, champion of the oppressed, right? It says that. Like, so it's like you got that's the problem. You have people that probably never read a comic book trying to tell you what Superman is, right? And if you actually read a comic book, you would like yeah, right. You would notice. So you've seen the cartoons, all of that stuff, right? Whereas Superman would like always try to stop and prevent wars, right? That's always been his makeup, his character. And these guys, saying get it twisted. When I seen Fox News I said all the other people, Fox News had something to say, right? That was crazy. Like, oh my god. But yeah, man. Tommy, but I hope you like the movie as well, though. Like, and so. But yeah, man. Like I said, like give the movie a chance, though. Yes, exactly. But we don't need. Listen, man. It's not wrong showing a different take, but the first take of Superman should have been one James Gunn presented, and then like the Man of Steel should have been like an Elseworlds type of Superman, right? If you feel me? So yeah, that's what it is. Like now, the Man of Steel would have been a good Elseworlds story, though, right? That would have been like something like that. That'd have been perfect. If Man of Steel came out today, right, and stuff as an Elseworlds movie, right? Yeah, that'd have been like really good. But a lot of people don't understand like the character or the mythos of like Superman and stuff. Like Superman always considered himself to be somewhat to be like human though, even though he's an alien. But I mean, but he's like, and his demeanor and like character is more human than alien. If you really look at it, feel me? He is. But like I said, I gave this movie a 9. I say, man, I was happy coming out the theater and stuff like that. I'm thinking to myself, yes, Superman definitely is back, and like people, regardless of people say whatever, regardless of what it makes, we're getting that Supergirl movie next year, right? Because like we're in post production, the movie slated to come out next year, right? So yeah, so that's that movie's gonna come out regardless. So people get used to that. And you know what Ricky was saying, hey, this man's not. I don't think he's gonna make 500 million. Like you don't think he's gonna make 500 million? Like that's kind of crazy though. Like it definitely could do 500 million, right? Yeah, yeah. So I think he's gonna get a sequel. So I think the sequel probably see what they do with the Batman and Wonder Woman, but maybe it could come maybe like 2 3 years, I guess. So it's 25, so maybe 27, 28. They'll probably be in 28 though. Cause we know what the Batman 2 that's gonna come out in 27 though, right? And that's what Reeves. So you can see. So I'm not sure what, and they still working on the strips right now. So I don't think the Batman and Wonder Woman will be ready. But you could probably what happened is he'll probably do like if Superman comes out in 28, I guess. probably in 28 or 29. It depends what they're gonna do with the DCU Batman. 'Cause I know they're still working on that and a Wonder Woman and stuff. So yeah, but DC got a lot of stuff in the works though too, and I don't be surprised if they want to start doing something with Mr. Terrific though, right? They might try to get work with him, get him something going as well. Oh, okay. Yeah, so sometimes like a second watch is good too. I mean, yeah, so also Corn Sweat also talked about what mind doing like something like in Star Wars, being a Jedi or something. So I think that'll help out his career as well. Is too. But yeah, man, this is a good start. And I think Supergirl, I think she possibly could do like as far as the box office. I think she could probably do better. 'Cause I was just looking at her like how she was in the movie, even though it was much later though, right? Not giving away a whole lot. Like everybody knows Supergirl was gonna be in the Superman movie. She showed up because like those that don't know, I mean, right? Just remember, Supergirl, well, Woman of Tomorrow, right? So you know, based off of that, you know, Crypto's going with her, though, right? Because remember, this movie, the Supergirl movie, is inspired by Woman of Tomorrow. You know, Crypto's, you feel me? So yeah, so Crypto's like, is gonna probably like go with her. So yeah, so this is gonna help out Supergirl. So look, Superman's like setting the table, right? For all the rest of DCU movies. So I think Supergirl is going to do very well at the box office next year. And you got Jason Momoa there too, right? So you know it's gonna be some comedy in there too with the Supergirl and stuff, probably though, right? And stuff. Yeah, right. So definitely, I'm going next. I'm definitely going. What? Hold up a minute. I'm definitely going next year though to see Supergirl, and even though I don't really do a whole lot of horror, but I'm gonna go and see that Clayface next year as well. That's what I'm saying. So like you know, like Nathan Fillion, he's gonna be a part of other stuff too and stuff and other part. You know, he's gonna be in Atlantis though, but we're probably gonna see Mr. Terrific more though too and stuff. But you know what this does, Buck, this you know this sets up for like a Justice League down the line. You know that though, right? Like even in the movie they show like what the Hall of Justice though, right? You see that building, but nothing really. You know, so you know that's coming down the line though. Whether it's Justice League America or Justice League International, whatever they're gonna call it, right? That's in the works down the line though and stuff. So yeah. So all I'm saying, man, we gotta let James Gunn cook though. He knows what he's doing. So it's a lot of ways he's gonna go. Like I said, whoever can come with a good script and James Gunn sees the script and he likes it. That's how Supergirl got made so fast. Because the script he said it was too good. That's what James Gunn said. And you know, I think Martian Manhunter, but like I said, I won't say too much. But like I'm gonna say, okay, well, it could have been possible Martian Manhunter in that movie though, right? If you look, and also some that thing they was facing outside the window. I think that was Mixel because like even like when I watched the movie, Superman said, "Oh, that was just like a they're battling some imp, dimensional imp." So that probably could have been like a nod at Mixoplex. So yeah, man, trust me. Go ahead and check this movie out. Like I said, Buck, just go like next week on the what is it like Tuesday or Wednesday where they have 50% off the ticket Buck. So I would recommend doing that. But hey, even if you can't get to the movie theater, whatever, you know, you know what? Being that I bought this, and what I'm also going to do, I'm definitely getting that 4K Blu-ray of it too, though. Feel me? So not only I support the movie, I'm definitely get the Blu-ray of it too when it comes out. All of that. So I think like the Steelbook case looking really looking good too though. So but I might try to go back like maybe go back maybe like in August though, right? Cuz I'm not really like big on like Fantastic Four unless I was to do like a two movie in one like where I go and do what like two movies in one day like Fantastic Four and Superman whatever something like that. where it's like the 50% off, like you get 50% off though, right? And so maybe you probably see like three different like get three different showings and stuff, right? Who knows? But I don't know. Sometimes look at, but yeah, definitely like I'm saying, Superman. Definitely, like I said, it was a nine for me. To me, it was a great movie. If you want to call it great, it was definitely at worst it was a good movie though, right? And that's what I was saying. I just about me watching all these trailers, I just knew right that it was gonna be a good movie, right? I just knew it. It was gonna be good, right? And I think James Gunn made the movie not too long just to have them have more showings and have people come back to rewatch it over and stuff, right? So what I gather, what's gonna happen to the clone? Will he become a Zero down the line? I don't know, right? I think they made a mention of Mixoplex when he mentioned the imp. That's Mixoplex, and I think that guy that was in the prison, pushing that thing along, that might have been a Martian Manhunter, possibly. So yeah, so like you seen a lot of like how they was doing this stuff in the movies was like great. And I would say this though, James Gunn has to be careful who he has at these screenings though, because like the plot had got leaked, right? And the reason why I say that because like what was said in that plot, the leaked plot actually came true and stuff like that. So you gotta watch out because someone like was telling like someone you know he had someone whoever was there actually gave that plot away to somebody and stuff, and that was kind of like misleading. But I didn't care anyway because but everything that's in that plot, I knew about like with the mutant monkeys, whatever, typing away, like. But that happened. It was such short, so it didn't really take away from the movie though. But that was kind of crazy. That they had that plot had got leaked though, like that, which is kind of crazy. So you definitely gotta watch who you invite to your screenings and stuff like that. But that's the thing you do because then people can remember it and write that stuff down. This is what the plot is, this and that, right? So whatever. But all in all, it was a great experience for me, right? Like you said, I don't think if persons go with a clear mind, whatever, right? I don't think you'll be disappointed in the movie and stuff. Like I said, like I said, my word doesn't matter though, right? Only word that matters is yours because you're the one that's going to pay to see the movie. So your word matters more than mine as far as how you feel about a movie, right? Because I can't control your opinion and nor what I want to, right? We have to get back to being free thinkers though, right? And all this stuff. We don't have it's not allowed that in this country, right? Too many people could be, manipulated though and swerve a certain way to think about something though, right? But like I said, use your mind though, right? If you don't like something, cool. It's okay not to like something. It's okay to like something that other people don't like. That's okay. But as far as Superman goes, great job by James Gunn. I believe he delivered and stuff for me. We have a certified fresh not only with the critics but also with the audio, much bigger with the audience. So that's what's the most part, because most of these critics was being, gets probably, if you're a critic, you probably get like a big discount on the movies, right? But the audience, that's what really matters more so is the audience, and I think majority of people they enjoyed the movie too though. From what I was like I said, was out at the theaters, they showed they enjoyed the movie though and stuff. So, yeah, man. So like, yeah. So just take advantage of that. What you can like like you said, the AMC though doing 50% off though. So Buck, you could take a look at that whatever how your schedule permits though. Yes, I think John Johns might have been in that Superman movie though. He might have been one of those Martians though. He might have been. So, but yeah, I think they're gonna do something with Martian Manhunter though. Who they have played Martian Manhunter? I'm not sure though. But I think he'll be a good addition though. Definitely though. Martian Manhunter and stuff. Yeah. So yeah, man. So like, but that's all. I had to come and say what I felt about this movie. Like start to finish, excellent. Right. Um, Well, like some people saying, well, second half, everything gelled together, right? Fine. They talk about the second half, like at no point did none of the stuff seem like weird to me or whatever. Well, I got weirded out, like as far as the humor. So what people were saying, whatever, it was a really good balance between the tone, the seriousness, and the humor. So so I don't understand like what people were saying about that. But hey, man, some as you know, some people have their own gripes to you know gears like want to grind whoever gears whatever or want to make a statement whatever the case may be. You know how that go. Some people could have like personal vendettas whatever though. But like yeah, so I'm definitely giving this a 9 out of 10 and stuff. And I'm just waiting to see how Supergirl is next year, though. I'm not really interested in that much in Fantastic Four. Like, if y'all want me to go and see Fantastic Four and cover and do a reaction on Fantastic Four, reaction plus review on Fantastic Four, I'll do it. If y'all want me to cover that, I could do that though. But I'll probably check it in like August or something, you know. So I just let me know and stuff. But like I said, man, I had a good time at the movie. It was a while since I ain't been in the movies in a long while, all right. But going back there, you know, it was it was great though. I think what was it like? I think I might have seen Superman Returns in the movie for when I was with my moms or something, right? R.I.P. So yeah, yeah, man, it was definitely a good show for the whole DCU. What they put on. You know, the seats was like comfortable at AMC, so that was cool. Like I wasn't eating no popcorn or drinking nothing. I was just fixed. I had my eyes on right on the movie, you know, and like everything is like pretty cool and stuff. Everything I seen was going like everything fit into together, right? The pacing was great. The pacing was really good and stuff. You know, the pacing was good. Like all the actors did their thing in it too. Like definitely. They got. I think they said they got a star in their hands with Corin Sweat with the Lois Lane. God, I believe not only Lois Lane, I believe that she could do other stuff too, right? As far as the Warner Brothers, so and stuff, they got some with these actors and stuff with that Lex and stuff too. So yeah, it's a lot of things they could do, right? Who knows, right? Guys, they could do a Legion of Doom movie down the line though. You know that though, right? Whatever. Because James Gunn got his own twist. Because like, so we know, with the Authority, right? The one person we seen was the engineer, but they did their own little twist on the engineer though. And I gotta, yeah. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with the engineer and stuff, how that all plays out though. But man, that was like I said, I was like, damn, I was saying to myself in the movie theater, like, yo, this is everything that I wanted the movie to be, right? A good start. Oh, I'm feeling great, man. Just got back from watching that Superman movie. I think James Gunn did great. Oh, what was? Are you back? Who else? Yeah, man. Like I said, I am for that though. Like, it felt good going to see it. Oh, you saw it Tuesday? All right. For me, being a Superman fan and like from the comics and all of that, yeah, I think this is what DC fans needed though, because we was in a bad headspace for the ramification, all that stuff that happened in the DCEU. Now, I think the DCE it had some quality stuff. Like I like the Man of Steel, obviously the Wonder Woman. Even I thought the Justice League was decent. Some might have liked the Batman versus Superman, but then as it went on, you know what? No, when I looked at the AMC Daily Planet Daily News bucket, I looked at it and I just wasn't feeling it though. So I didn't even get that Daily News popcorn bucket to be honest with you. So if I go to it, yeah, I just felt like I I was underwhelmed looking at that bucket though. I thought I would like get it right, but then when I looked at it, it didn't look that impressive to me though. So I'm saying that's something I wanted to do right, but it didn't look that impressive to me though. So I might, if I go to another viewing of Superman, I might try to go to maybe a different one maybe and stuff maybe. But yeah, like the Daily News one, it wasn't like really popping for me though, like that. Feel me? I'm just gonna be honest. It wasn't and stuff. So yeah, man. But I think yeah, man, this movie was like, yo, it was like they said it was a lot going on. I don't think it was a whole lot going on where you couldn't keep up with the story. I think you would hear about it's already talks about Superman 2 right now, right? If you look on them and stuff like that. I mean, because I think probably now, you know, because I seen somewhere where a potential sequel that he's supposed to be a part of Corner's Way. I think he was saying anyway. So yeah, so like it's definitely getting greenlit for a sequel though. Yeah, my fault. Daily Planet. Yeah, pardon me. But yeah, the Daily Planet. You know, it's just the popcorn bucket. When you look at it in person, it didn't look real great though. To me, you know, it looked kind of cheap though, right? So I said, oh nah, I can't get this bucket because like, yo, I think we yeah. So like, yeah, so they call it the Daily Planet. So all everything was like crazy though, right? And so like Jimmy, I see Jimmy Olsen got some pops from out the crowd as well too, right? You see what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm just being honest though. With that popcorn bucket, the Daily News, excuse me, Daily Planet, it looked like it wasn't impressive though. Looking at it, you know. So I'm just being like honest with that. I said, oh wow. I was like, say, damn, that's the only thing I was disappointed about the Superman was with that Daily Planet popcorn bucket. You know, that was the only disappointing thing. That was the only thing I was disappointed with for the Superman is that popcorn bucket. But yeah, man. But other than that, got no complaints with the movie. You know, like I said, this Superman, right? He actually shown range in his acting. He was believable as well, right? This Superman, he was believable and stuff, especially stuff that he believed in and stuff too, right? And I am, and you see, no matter what, how bad hurt he was willing to risk it all to put it on the line to save whoever. You talking about saving a squirrel, whoever, right? He's out there doing that. That's what Superman represents, you know. And like, how can someone go against that character though? What the character stands for, though, right? That's the crazy part, you know. It's like, yo, that he like it's a code for being like a superhero though. Yeah, I know you might say, yeah, he was a good one though. But for my goat legs, I guess you know, cause like I go with Gene Hackman though, right? Cause like cause I was with the early Supermans though, right? So I always look at the Gene Hackman though. That I mean, I guess definitely he's in a Mount. You have on a Mount Rushmore of Lex villains though. The Gene Hackmans. I would have the Heath, the Joker to play Heath. Obviously the Jack Nicholas, right? One, and you know, right. Those for me one of like, you know, for like in DC villains, right? Those that played it though. Yeah. So and stuff like that. So I'm just seeing how DCU gonna get this Batman off the ground and a Wonder Woman though, right? And stuff. Now I definitely want to see more action in Wonder Woman. Like Wonder Woman should be action personified though, right? Because she's an Amazonian warrior princess, basically, right? Basically, what you was getting with Xena though, really, right? So you had to figure Xena was probably inspired by Wonder Woman though. Really look at it, feel me? So, like I said, I'm waiting to the next movie though. So like we got a good Superman movie though, right? James Gunn got the Superman character right. You know, now only if we could get some video game developers to get the character right, you know, then we'd be set. Oh no, but but I think you misinterpret even if they was to bring him though, but the tone is this though, right? So tones can change. Okay, like let's say now if They all know Batman will not be like campy or whatever and stuff like that. Batman's a more serious character. He has no choice but to be more serious. He's human though, right? And so yeah, yeah. I don't know. He's still trying to get this Batman right though. So we're gonna see how that go though, right? But oh, you hold on. Buck say they need to ditch the Batman with armor look. Oh, okay. One Batman. Oh, you know what? Even though they getting Batman and stuff, I wouldn't know. No, I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind the absolute Batman though. Oh man, that'd be like badass right there. The absolute Batman. Well, no, only campy Batman was the Adam West one. Really look at it. I don't think Batman is really campy though. 'Cause he said he's not making a campy Batman though. So yeah, so it has to be. I'm not saying you can't have a little bit of humor in it though, right? Because at the same, everything can't be super like, you know. So it has to be a balance though, right? But like I said, man, James Gunn. Listen, James Gunn knows how these characters works though, right? He's like people think like, oh, James Gunn don't know what he's doing. Like that Batman looks. Yeah, so he would have to get the maybe the maybe the gray and blue Batman, I guess that costume one. But yeah, so me personally, like, oh man, I like one of my favorite Batmans was the Michael Keaton Batman. Oh, that was like Michael Keaton though, right? Yeah, he was like a pretty decent Batman. That's what I'm saying, but he's not trying to do that though. We think about the Brave and the Bold though, right? I don't think he's gonna. I don't think he's not trying to make a campy Batman and stuff. And you look at the Robin or Damian, right? He's far from campy though. Like he's vicious though. Like feel me? So yeah, I don't think he's gonna go with a campy like Batman and Robin stuff, right? The one way back then, yeah, it was, but like I think the Batman that he's working on, right? James Gunn, it's not gonna be campy at all, you know. So that's what I believe. It won't be campy at all though. The Batman and Robin, because James Gunn knows he cannot have Batman being campy though. Feel me? So nah. I don't think that's gonna happen. But yeah, you know what? I'm looking at yeah. No, no, you have like some humor with Batman with the villains though, right? Obviously with the Joker and stuff like that, right? You know what I'm saying? You can have that, but like I think as far as Batman, I think it's gonna be more grounded though and stuff. Even in Superman, right? Superman, a little lighthearted Superman was in this movie, right? It was nothing to the effect of Guardians of the Galaxy. People say, "Oh, it's gonna be like that," though, right? No, but Batman, I don't. I think Batman, like I said, anything you got to have a certain balance, though, right? Um, and stuff. It depends on what type of humor they're using, though, right? If it's some type of dark humor or whatever, right? What something. But like not the campy type humor that you'll find in a more colorful character, right? You could get that with Superman though. Before I was like a Batman, not as you can't really go like campy too much with Batman because it's gonna take away from the because Batman is like a serious character though, so it's gonna take away from that. I mean, so yeah, but they trying to get it right, and so we'll see what comes about it. But with Batman though, you yeah, so like I guess you gotta look at the Brave and the Bold comic books, I guess, and see wherever they can find a balance that works. And I think also he's probably gonna consult with Matt Reeves as well. About yeah to make sure to get the DCU Batman right and stuff. So yeah, so I think that's what's probably what's going to happen. But more importantly, the Wonder Woman. I think I would rather get that because push comes to like you know If they, my only point is if they're gonna use if they can't get that Batman stuff right, and they gonna try if there's not gonna be a campy Batman, they might as well just use Rubik. They just might as well just stick with the just keep that one Batman and be the Elseworld one. I know you want that, but you could have them like crossover or whatever. I don't know, but I wonder would it work having two different characters, Elseworld Batman and I guess, but I think it'd be different though, right? Because basically, like a lot of these Batman is basically grounded though, but Superman, you can always when you do a different take on a Superman, that's like, you know, it could be from like campy or to dark though, so it depends, whatever. So, I don't know. Like I said, they still working on that Batman though, right? In DCU because they gotta get it right. Because if they can't get it right, then I don't know if you could bring it necessarily bring it out unless you get to have um um somehow bring Patterson in at DCU, whatever. That'd be the only way. If you can't get the Batman right, you know what? They probably have to do that and just it's to continue to have Matt Reeves work his magic. But we'll see though. See what happens though. But definitely want to see him get Wonder Woman off the ground and running though. Get that show Paradise Lost. That's a thing dealing with Mascara. So get that off the ground right there. So and we'll see what happens with that. But like you said, next year Supergirl, which was called Woman of Tomorrow, and actually I had the graphic novel of this book too. So and what we know is they added Lobo into this movie, right? Jason Momoa, and you want so and Crypto's gonna be there. So, and I think the audience was like they was falling in love with Crypto though. So, oh, Nico said Supergirl is hot. Yeah, right. I mean, so Nico, I gotta ask you, Nico, what you didn't like about Superman, Nico? I'm trying to, cause like I enjoyed the movie, so like I know you got a different take. So what you didn't like about the Superman, Nico? I gotta put you on the spot, Nico. Like you said, your opinion's your opinion, though, Nico. So I'm just trying to see what you didn't like. Tell me what you like and what you didn't like about the movie, if you don't mind. It felt rushed. Okay, all right. What you explain that? Oh, you said it had great. So what score did you give it? You said it felt rushed. Yeah. So I'm trying to think. Okay, Nico, what score did you give it? Oh, you gave it a 6. Okay. Well, that's Nico's opinion. All right. But I'm trying to ask you though, right? Cause remember how it started off. It did that crawl. It told you okay the setting where it was at. You feel me? And I think I don't think it was to me. I don't think it was rushed. It was like it was picking up from what we seen from the beginning of the crawl, right? It told you okay. It actually was explaining the stuff that was going on. And then boom, Superman crashes onto the ground, and then it goes from there and stuff like that. So yeah, I don't think it was rushed. It just wasn't a really long movie though, and things were like going by fast. Oh, oh yeah, it just showed him stopping a war though, right? So yeah, but yeah, I guess if you want to see how he stopped that war right there. Oh yeah, if you want to see that though, right? Okay, so you wanted them to, if they would have showed that, okay. But me, being a Superman savant myself, I gave it a 9 though, cause like it's what I was like first. Okay, I don't know. Okay, well that's your opinion. I mean, people go and see all different types of movies, comic book movies. So, I don't know, I don't know what that has to do with anything though. But okay, hold up, let me see something. All right, hold up. Um, yeah, okay. So like, he didn't want to like, trust me, it was a lot of adults in it. younger adults, I should say, that was actually in there seeing a movie though. But hold on for a minute. Let me do something real quick. Hold up. They got something that those are kid movies though. But okay. Oh yeah, the casting did his job though. The acting was really good in it, right? In my opinion. So, so the acting was pretty good in there. Hold up a minute. Okay, let me see. Yeah, I don't really go to the movies to watch Pixar movies. And I don't think it's a movie for Tyler, but hold up for me. Okay. Um. Yeah, we're good on that. Okay. Haven't seen it. Yeah, so like Oscar, give it a chance. You probably like it. Yeah, so check it out. Like it was out today, but you could go and check it out on Friday, or wait till next week, like on a Tuesday or Wednesday, when they have like 50% off the tickets. Though, you could do something like that. No, they was out of space. That's they was floating because they was out of space though. See what I'm saying? They was floating out of space and stuff like that. And he said the pocket dimension river was dangerous, but well, obviously, like he's listen, Mr. River is just a human though. Like remember, he was saying that he was with Lois Lane, and you see they didn't go down there though, right? And they had to be in that ship though, right? You seen that though, right? They had those space suits on though. You know that though, right? Nico, if you didn't know, they had those suits on where they could like fly, whatever though. Those guys are called Raptors, I believe. So yeah. Are you from Europe? Okay, well, I'm not sure what the timing, whenever, wherever. I guess you could look it up. I'm not sure as far as Europe, but it all should be like Friday. You should be able to get it too. Oh yeah. So you're in Europe, so I'm not sure how they do it. Ever got any promotions over there? Cause he just what you mean? He seen a guy get killed. Listen, Metamorpho wasn't like a villain, so cause he seen a guy just get his head blown off. What you talking about? He didn't want that to happen though, right? You know what I'm saying? You see the trauma, he get his head blown because they got it like he was just a regular guy though. They got shot. What do you mean? What he's crying for? You see what? Like, come on, nigga. Like, and like he was like, how I say, he was like that was good acting though, right? I mean, like I'm saying, what you mean? The emotion. You see the guy just got his head blown off though, right? What you talking about? Why was he crying though? He listen, nigga. You watch the movie. Let me tell you something. He didn't want to be there or do that, right? Make that kryptonite out his hand. Remember, Lex had his son, which is his name was Joey. I mean, you see what I'm saying? So he was really being forced to do Luthor's bidding for us in that cage, though, and stuff like that. I'm trying to tell you, like, yeah, nigga. So yeah, like, listen, look, right? So he wasn't a villain though. Like Luthor had his son, so he had to do Luthor's bidding, though, right? Else something happened to his son. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Yeah. And you see what he did in the end. He sort of made some like son, right? It gave him somewhat of his power, but he still was fighting that kryptonite poison and stuff like that. You feel me? And so yeah, I mean, like like used to feel it. Like the field I was at, they was loving crypto though. Nico, they definitely was loving crypto out there though too. I ain't gonna hold you. So they was loving crypto. So yeah, crypto probably like an unsung hero in that movie. Oh yeah, yes, I'm excited for this movie. Right, listen, I know you seen something different. Me, I seen James Gunn, you know, nail the Superman, right? Some might couldn't really keep up with the story, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Some people like certain things from it, but like I said, art is subjective though. So hey, but like to me, all the plots, the storyline, they all fit. And I'm gonna ask myself, why does this happen? I understand why. That Kaiju was there, right? Why? Remember, he had that Kaiju released while I was in the fortress trying to find some on Superman, though, right? That's why the Kaiju we was fighting Kaiju. It was just a distraction, so Superman couldn't come there. I mean, yeah, I got we'll see like how much you do, but to me, I think it's a success though. I like I gave it like my score is a 9. I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. Just keep like the storyline was going on between him and Lois, then what Lex is trying to do and stuff, and then they get into that fortress, and then it was like a different message that his parents gave Kyle out, and he took that and which allowed him to I get in a way get upper hand up on Superman though and stuff like that. And I enjoyed that though, right? It was definitely a different take on Superman had we ever seen. It was different. It was a different take, but still staying true to the core character of Superman though. So I felt all that stuff, everything, all fit together though and stuff. And for a person that reads the comic books and stuff like that, so yeah, everything to me was like you had obviously you had romance in there because Lois Lane, and you had Superman battling through adversity though, right? He seemed more relatable in this movie than I probably seen than in the Man of Steel, right? He was relatable. Like he got beaten, right? Lost in a battle. That's why, which is probably the Hammer Barabia did that, which was Ultraman, right? And so you see what happened. So he was badly hurt, and he had to get up. And you see like the engineer went looking for him and stuff like that. Only reason why they actually the Fortress of Solitude because Ultraman was a clone of Superman though, right? That's the only reason why. And they so yeah, because it's so that's what happened. If those so that's why they was able to have access to that Fortress of Solitude because Ultraman was a clone, right? And they recognized Ultraman as being Superman though, which so that's how that fortress came up. That's why Luthor wasn't worried about it when we was telling Engineer to come back and stuff. So yeah, see, so like everything I've watched in this movie, you know, I picked up on immediately. So I'm saying, so maybe somebody had to watch it a second time, but yeah, that's why he was able to go for the fortress though. Ultraman being a clone of Superman. Luthor said it though in his battles when it was a piece of hair he used to clone Superman. So I'm saying, yeah, Supergirl come out next year though, right? So right, this movie was to set up the DCU going forward, right? It was to be a piece for the bigger puzzle of DCU. Yes, he does talk in the comics though. He do, right? But remember, it was James Gunn take on an Ultraman type, right? Ultraman, right, is Superman in another dimension, though, an evil one at that. But all in all, you really look at it, he called him Ultraman, but it wasn't necessarily the same as Ultraman in the comics. Even though he was a clone of Superman, Ultraman just as an evil Superman in another dimension, though. You see what I'm saying? So it was so yeah. So I don't mind they taking a character and put your own little spin on it, right? That's called being creative, right? When you do stuff like that, they put his own little spin on engineering stuff too. That's called being creative, though. And if you just like sit down, watch the movie again, or whatever, it's like you just music. All you do is listen to the beat and not the words. Though then you're gonna probably you might miss something though. But I'm trying to tell you is that the story it was nothing wrong to me for me though. I'm not gonna say you was wrong, but I'm saying for me the story all added it all fit for me though, right? What it was doing, like, cause you had to look at the crawl though. At the beginning, it was telling what was going on with the Medicare was being there like 3 centuries. That's 300 years. Like, I mean, Superman being like 30 years old at that time, only being Superman for like 3 years or whatever. See what I'm saying? So yeah, so like so most I knew all of that, and we knew about him going there and stopping a war and stuff, right? All that stuff. But Luthor didn't like Superman just because people was praising him, right? He wanted to be the one to be getting praised, though, right? That's classic Luthor. If you watch All Star Superman, he wanted all of that praise and stuff, right? So before this movie came out, James Gunn was giving you books, inspired books to read about Superman, right? He was listing them though, right? And All Star Superman was one of them and stuff. So yeah, it was one of the books too. So yeah, and yeah, I think the Supergirl movie's it's gonna be like pretty funny, like has some good comedic moments in there too. So I think it's a chance that Supergirl probably could do better than Superman. Cause you know what? They already got that first DCU movie out, right? With Superman and stuff. Now, okay, boom. Now you can see that. Boom. Now, you can see Supergirl. It's gonna be completely different from Superman, though, right? And then you know what? And people probably enjoy that probably even more, which is good though, because it's not necessarily about just necessarily one character necessarily. It's about the whole puzzle, which is DCU. You know what I'm saying? Exactly though, right? And then in that same year, you have a horror coming out, Clayface, a Batman villain we know from the Batman animated series though. You see what I'm saying? And so yeah. And also I mean he might be who's co-producing on that as well. Matt Reeves. So yeah. I'm thinking that Clayface horror movie is gonna be really good as well. So I think DC's gonna have two hits on their hands, right? Now obviously they probably can't. They're not gonna be able to go blow for blow with Spider Man and Avengers, but they don't have to though. As long as they put out a good quality movie where their fans come and see and check out, and it does well, and they'll be good. I think it's not about trying to put out a great home runs, but how about keep putting out doubles and stuff? Not necessarily home runs, but doubles, right? You know, and so I think that DCU will be fine though, because now they're getting the people to come back to the movie theaters now and stuff, right? And that's what the most important part. Cause look, the DCEU, what happened over time? They stopped coming to the movies. Like the DCU fans, the DC fans stopped coming to the movies to support those movies, though, right? You look at the last 10 DCEU movies, you see they struggled. They stopped supporting them. As I'm saying, so sometimes you got like, okay, James Gunn said, Superman is just a piece of the puzzle. This is like a 10-year plan, right? See what I'm saying? So it's a lot they're trying to accomplish. So they're not looking to do a home run. If they get a home run, fine, but as long as they can at least do a double, right? That's a baseball terminology, though. So that's what James Gunn was saying. He said, "Oh, it don't need to do a billion, right?" James Gunn just said, as long as he get his budget back, right? Basically, at least make his budget, and he's good with that, though, right? Because then it's not a failure. So that's really what. So like whatever they put into this movie, and if he gets that back, they're good with that though, right? Because you start a whole new universe. Look what Batman Begins has set the course. Look what Iron Man set the course though, right? The first movie or something. I'm gonna use Iron Man. Look at the first Iron Man. It wasn't a home run, right? But it set the course. It set the table for the eventual what the MCU could do down the line. So just look at that. So that's what people got to understand. You don't just come in and try to get a home run right off the bat. What you want to do is just try to get someone on base though, and then have the other guys come and knock and bring them home. You know, which we call in baseball we call that a RBI, runs batted in. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, advance to the runner basically. That's what you want to do. But people think, oh, you got to automatically hit a home. No, you don't hit a home run. No, you starting something new. You just want to get your foot in the door, do something that's gonna bring the fans back. You know, the fans had left DC, but now with James Gunn and with this movie, the fans are coming back. Whatever it do, how many numbers it does, it doesn't matter as long as you're bringing the fans back, right? And you're setting up for the next movie to be successful, right? So that's what James Gunn is doing. That's what his vision, what he's trying to accomplish, though. And I think he's going to accomplish that with Superman, and then we're going to see it with the next movie, though. Stuff. So like I think people out here overreact. Say, hey, Superman got to get $1 billion. No, it doesn't. It doesn't need to make $1 billion. Just make a good movie, right? And people will show up. And like you're seeing people are showing up. Like I'm gonna just say, I'm not saying they're gonna do like 500 just world global weekend, but it will be, I believe it will be over 200. I believe it will be over 230 global weekend, over 250 over that. So I think you gonna look and see, so, oh wow, okay, James Gunn's first DCU movie did pretty good under the circumstances, or whatever. Especially what it was going up against. You're gonna look at that and say, you know what? It did these numbers go up against Jurassic Park, the F1, the Fantastic Four, all these other summer movies coming out, and it did these numbers. You would say, okay, that was definitely a win for James Gunn and stuff like that. And you're gonna see that though, like. The audience score is 96, and I think the critics it went down to 82, but it's still certified fresh in critics and audience. So you, like I said, you got a lot of grifters on there, not one posting negative stuff. So that's how you get traction and views and stuff like that, right? But we'll see how well this does in the box office, right? We'll see. I believe it's gonna do very well though, right? Very well. I think it'll do very well. I think it's unique though in what it is for a Superman. It's not a copy and paste. It's not taken from Christopher Reeves though, right? You know, it's not. Now Christopher Reeves for a long time been a standard though, right? And so I think Christopher Reeves captured what Superman is like in the comic books. I can say that. And that's what James Gunn is trying to capture the essence of Superman from the comic books onto the big screen. That's what you're supposed to do with any adaptation of something that's coming from like literature though, right? Okay. So that's what he's trying to do and stuff. So I don't knock him for that and things like that. We don't knock him for that right there. So I think it's going to do well and stuff. It's going to do really good. And I think we should be patient with it. It's like I said, it's the first movie, right? Remember, Rome was not built in a day. And like I said, this is my reaction review. Like I said, I gave it a 9. I felt it was a good to great movie. People will have different opinions, which is okay. Yeah, Supergirl definitely go to Damo J. Cool. She definitely was funny. So it's gonna be probably have more comedic value than Superman when the Supergirl movie come out, especially with her, and then with Lobo. It's gonna be more humorous. I would say that, and that's good. You want to have, as long as you have a good fun movies though. The Superman at the end of the day, the Superman movie was a fun movie though, right? Now it obviously as a movie as a movie in a whole, it was obviously that go down the greatest movie ever. Obviously not, but as far as a comic book movie, as being Superman, all that, that's why I gave it a high score based off of that though. Now, as a some that's probably like it don't judge from the guys of that, but I felt even as if you judge as a regular movie, it's still solid enough. Whatever, right? But like for me, I think it was impactful though. It's gonna be impactful for this DCU and whatnot. People talk about, oh, I've been seeing on Twitter, not Twitter, but X. I say X. Oh, it was some movement called Fire James Gunn. You get rid of James Gunn, somebody will pick him up in a heartbeat. He's that talented of a guy. So we need to stop with this James Gunn hate, right? If you want to hate on him for certain tweets that he might have said, by all means, but you cannot hate on his talent. That's something you cannot do. His talent says that he's one of the best comic book directors. Period. His works will show you that. Now I'm saying besides him, like if you look at him, Russo, I guess the Russo brothers, but they had stuff where they already established. So look at James Gunn. Remember, he started the Guardians of the Galaxy though, right? When nobody even know who the Guardians of the Galaxy was, right? He started that. Star Lords and all those guys, Gamora, all those guys, right? Feel me? So yeah, so I'm gonna definitely giving James Gunn his flowers right now. He, like I said, he earned, like say, my trust as being a competent screenwriter director, right? So that's what I'm gonna go with James Gunn. You know what I mean? And see what it does. So I enjoyed the Creature Commandos. I like the Peacemaker. I'm looking forward to Peacemaker season 2 is next month, right? Matter of fact, so I'll make sure I get me my subscription of Max though going forward. For when that series drops though. So yeah, so that's my rating I gave Superman is a 9. Great movie. Um, no letdown for me. I was in tune from start to finish. It was just a great experience. Going to the theater, being a DC fan, being excited to go back to the theater and see a project happen and it does well. You know, that was great and stuff. And also, I want to say, I appreciate everyone stopping through though and stuff. You know, but like I said, I think DC did it, man. It's one step, right? You know, I would say they definitely got on base with this one. Now we just need, as far as live, we need Supergirl to come advance the runner though. Feel me? But yeah, I enjoyed this though. I enjoyed this movie from start to finish. I implore all of y'all to go ahead and see the movie and stuff too. So yeah, I'm not disappointed at all, man. Just one step. You just need that one step and stuff. So let me I'm about to get out of here though. I mean, like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already. I'll be back.